If you don't pay your electricity bill, you won't immediately be cut off, but debts and fees can mount up. Depending on how far it gets, it could be marked as a default on your credit file, passed on to debt collectors, or the supplier could apply to the court to get a county court judgment against you. Let's start from the beginning. When you stop paying your electric bill, the arrears will start to build up as debt. If you normally pay by direct debit, you may incur extra charges and administration fees. For example, Eon charged £10 for unpaid direct debits. You'll receive either a letter or an email from the company asking you to pay what you owe. If you haven't paid for a long time and ignore the supplier, a few things could happen. Your credit file could be affected when the defaults are reported. Your debt could be passed to a debt collector, and if they still don't hear back from you, they could apply to the court to get a county court judgment. Any of these actions will affect your credit rating and would make it difficult to get things like loans, credit cards, or a mortgage. Another consequence is that you might get put on a prepayment meter. Once you start to top the meter up, the energy company will deduct money to ensure that you pay back the bill. So, for example, if you put a tenner on the card, they could deduct £5 so that you only have £5 worth of electricity. On the majority of energy websites, you'll find a struggling to pay section. They have teams dedicated to people who are finding it difficult to pay. There's also something called a hardship fund, and if you fit the criteria, that could also offer you some help. There are also other ways of tackling it too. The supplier should be able to create a payment plan that's within your budget so that you can start paying it back. Always be open with them about your finances so that you're not struggling to live. If you're on benefits, there's something called a fuel direct scheme. A fixed amount is taken from your benefits to cover what you owe, plus an extra amount for your current use. You'll qualify for it if you're on income-based job seekers allowance, income support, income-related employment and support allowance, pension credit, or universal credit. If you find yourself unable to pay, the best thing to do is communicate with your supplier. They'll come up with a solution that's affordable and easier for you. If you've found yourself in debt and you feel a bit overwhelmed, there are options available to you if you're financially struggling. I'll run through some of these with you now. These solutions aren't all suitable for everyone, but you may find that one or two of them might work for you. I'll quickly explain them to you. So first up, we've got debt management plans, and they're an informal agreement that you make with the creditors to pay back your debts at a lower and more affordable rate. Normally, this means paying less each month, but over a longer time frame. Sadly, energy debt like yours can't be included, but you can use them for things like credit card debt. Next is debt relief orders. They freeze your debt payments for a full year, and then if your situation hasn't changed after 12 months, then the debt's written off. You can't own anything with significant value like a house or have more than £2,000 in savings. Another option is offering a final settlement. If you happen to have access to a large lump sum, you can offer that to the creditors. Even if it's not for the full amount you owe, they may be willing to accept it to save them time, but equally, it could be refused. Individual voluntary arrangements are another way to deal with your debt. It's a formal agreement between you and your creditors to reduce your payments to one simple payment each month. It lasts for 5 years, and then at the end, any remaining debt's written off. Bankruptcy is probably the most famous option, you may already know, but with bankruptcy, all your assets are reviewed and some may be sold off to pay back your debt. After a year, any remaining debt will be written off. When debt mounts up, it's overwhelming, but it's best not to ignore it or it'll just get worse. One simple step that you could take today is to find out if any of the debt solutions that I mentioned could work for you. In the description of this video, I've linked to a form on my new website, and it's got a few multiple choice questions like how much debt do you owe and how many people do you owe? At the end of the form, it'll connect you to a company that I've partnered with to provide you with all the information that you need about debt solutions that are available. So click the link below, check it out, and let me know how you get on.